The gaming politician is no more. We have retired him. There's no need for the gaming politician anymore. The gaming politician has realized that he has outgrown the consoles. The gaming politician has realized that gaming is not what he wants to pursue anymore. He has tried and tried and tried and failed to help gamers understand why the future is Game Pass. He's hanging up his glasses because he realized fighting the good fight isn't as rewarding as it used to be in the past. The gaming politician realizes he's outgrown social media. He's outgrown hijacking podcasts. He's outgrown Game Pass. He just wants to be like everybody else. A gamer that just enjoys games, plays games. So the gaming politician will be no more. Moment of silence. Moment of silence for the gaming politician. Yo, what's good, people, man? It's your boy Persona. Gaming with Persona, one half of the What's Up PlayStation podcast crew. Make sure we got the music proper. Yo, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Y'all know I appreciate y'all rocking out with your boy here. We're gonna do it too. That might be a little. Let me know if the music's too loud. I know before the music was a little too loud. So I don't want that to happen this time. But yo, listen, shout out to everybody here in the chat, man. Listen, just a little joke at the beginning of the show. But welcome to When Persona Speaks episode 241. With your boy Persona, man. Appreciate everybody coming through, man. Listen, put a 1 in the chat if you're feeling great. Put a 2 in the chat if you're feeling okay. Put a 3 in the chat if you're not feeling that great at all. But I gotta tell you, if you add a 3, we're gonna try to get you to at least a 2 by the end of the show. Y'all know how I do things here. And also make sure you're watching this stream at 1440p 60 frames so you could get all that buttery smooth goodness. You understand? But listen, man, shout out to everyone. Ooh, I'm seeing a lot of 1s in the chat. I am seeing a lot of 1s in the chat. Ooh-wee. I love it. I love it. I love seeing the 1s. It makes me feel good. Listen, if you're at work, I hope I could get you through your work day. If you're on your way home from work or school, I hope I could get you through your commute home. You might be at home cooking dinner and doing homework with the kids. I hope I could get you through your session. Listen, you might be taking a shower. I don't know. Cleanliness is closer to godliness. Listen, you might be having the matters with the significant other. I don't know. I just appreciate you putting me on. Yo, man, so feels good, man. Feels good to be here, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Let me shout out everybody in the chat real quick, man. Yo, Kratos99 in the building. Kawhi in the building. Kawhi, how you feeling today, mama? Appreciate you. Big Hardcore Gamer. JC2013. Ice Queen Gaming. Johnny Gaming. Olu Ladeoni in the building. Hope I said that right. Olu. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. Don't kick my shins. Yo, Fox sitting around. Austin in the building. Austin, how you feeling today, bro? Uppercase J, my boy Jamil in the building. Shout out to my boy Jamil. For Brizzle in the building. Philip Sin in the building. Teasy the GOAT. Teasy in the building. Mr. Polar Bar in the building. Arvin in the building. High Key Xena in the building. High Key Xena. Now, Xena, Did you ever see that show, Xena the Warrior Princess, from way back in the day? That's my show. I love Xena. Xena was my shit, man. I love Xena, man. Yo, that show was I love that show, man. That show was fire. Ice Queen, I said what's up to you. Who else is here, man? King Kiso! Shout out to my boy King Kiso in the building. Yo, listen, guys. Give your love to King Kiso in the chat. My boy got engaged or got married a couple weeks back, or a month or so back, 2 months ago. Give your love to King Kiso in the chat. My boy got his player 2. That's all we all want. We all just trying to find our player 2. That's all we trying to do. And shout out to my boy King Kiso, because he did the impossible in today's dating market. He found his player 2. Man, I gotta give you a round of applause for that, King Kiso. I gotta give another round of applause, man. Oh. Shout out to my boy King Kiso. Mass Produce in the building. Nix Vid 1D. What's going on? Rollo in the building. I can't even talk. Press Alpha in the building. JC, what's going on with you, bro? Shout out. Yo, Sick Nick Mondo in the building. Kelvin Smith in the building. J-Ro 49. Cobb Sanity. Cobb, I appreciate you resubbing to the membership on the channel. No, I appreciate you. And shout out to the new subscribers. I think High Key Xena, I think you subscribed too. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. Who else is here? Henry Heck in the building. Shout out to my boy Henry. Yo, Henry, man, I don't know if Lil Mama watching. This gonna be a historical show. I don't know if Lil Mama watching. She might want to get the Xbox, see about this Xbox. You understand? Shout out to you, Henry, man. If Lil Mama watching, shout out to Lil Mama as well, man. Appreciate y'all. Tool Man, Leech 1339 in the building. Vigilante in the building. Appreciate you. Lucy, my girl. Hey, Xena know about that Xena Warrior Princess. Yes. That's my show. That's my show, man. I love that Xena, man. That used to be my show back in the day. Who else is there? Yo, Curse Kane in the building. What's going on with you? Starbug in the building. Nerdy Gaming in the building. Killer Cam for show in the building. Lurker. Steady Flow. Outside Gaming Night. Philip K. Tricelsius in the building. PS Rewind in the building. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Prince Philip in the building. Appreciate you, Prince. Appreciate you rocking out, man. Compost Smurf in the building. Who else is here? I'm getting old, guys. You know, my eyesight ain't as good as what it used to be. You understand? You know, I'm getting up there. I'm getting up there in age now. I said Mass Produce. What's going on with you? T.O. What's going on, T.O.? Appreciate you. Johnny Gaming in the building. Appreciate you. Who else is here? Mr. Decepticon. That's a dope name. Decepticon, what's going on with you? Which Decepticon are you, though? That's the question. Which Decepticon, man? Are you Starscream? Let me find out. Don't say Megatron. Megatron cliche as hell. I'm Megatron. That's the Decepticon. Everybody want to be Megatron, but there ain't nobody Megatron. You understand? Starscream, Megatron. Who is you? Tell me. Let me know which Decepticon are you. AC, what's going on with you, bro? T-Mang Fu in the building. Shout out to you, T-Mang. Appreciate you. Corrosive, what's going on with you, man? Appreciate you, Corrosive, coming through, rocking out, man. Typhoon, what's going on, man? Appreciate you, Typhoon. Who else is here, man? Who else is here? Yo, J-Ro, appreciate you resummoning to the membership as well. I am Cray in the building. Shout out to my boy Vic. Listen, guys. Listen. I don't ask y'all for much, but I'm gonna ask y'all for 3 things today. 3 things. 3. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 3 things, okay? First, my boy I am Cray. I'm about to go to his YouTube channel. Where's his YouTube channel at? Let me see. How do I go to the YouTube channel here? I gotta put it in the thing. I want you guys to subscribe to my boy I am Cray, right? Nice. Which is it? Yo, oh my god. Subscribe to I am Cray. I gotta find the channel, man. I should have had it on me. I should have had it ready. I want you guys to subscribe to my boy I am Cray, man. This is a good dude, a dude I've known for a really, really long time. It's one of my bros, and I want him to grow. He doing content, he doing streams and all that stuff. I'm gonna put the link in the chat as soon as I get the link. But this is somebody that I definitely want you guys to subscribe to. Real talk. I don't ask y'all for much. Oh, here we go. I found it. Yo, Vic, throw your link in the chat too, man. Listen, man. I am Pray to I'm also put his channel in the description and all as well. But go subscribe to my boy I Am Cray. Go support him, man, and you know, get him up there when it comes to you know, his subscribers and whatnot, man. Go support good content creators. So go support my boy. Second thing, share this stream out as well. This stream here, share it out to all the people. Share it to your socials. You know, just send it to your family. You know, your aunt and your uncle might want to watch a good show. You know, go and send it to them. You know, they might like what they see. What was the third thing? Oh, and hit the like button. Hit the like button for your boy. You feel me? All right, let's see who else. Yeah, I think I got everybody, man. Shout out to everybody here, man. Y'all know I appreciate y'all so much. Rocking out with me, rocking out on the channel and whatnot. Yeah, I think we got everybody. Man. Yo, shout out to Henry Heck, man, resubbing on the membership as well. And then shout out to Straight Shot. He says, we've been waiting years for Fallout 4 60 FPS and ray trace Minecraft. Do you think Sony even wants to send Microsoft PS5 Pro dev kits? Yo, that's a wild question to ask. Straight Shot. We're gonna ease into it. Pause. We're gonna get there. I promise. We're gonna get there. Tech 5, what's good, man? John Donuts, what's up? And then shout out to King Kiso, 31 months as a member on the channel. Jeez. Shout out to my boy King Kiso. He said recent news: Foam Stars, Helldivers, and Super Bowl all in the same week. Yeah, it's gonna be a good week, man. It's a lot of great games dropping on PlayStation. A lot of great games. You know, the Helldivers, Foam Stars. And we got the Super Bowl on Sunday, so, you know, that's going to be really entertaining. And then shout out to J-Ro, man, 9 months as a member on the channel, man. He put the emojis with the 100%. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, man. But, yo, man, listen. Let's get into the show, man. We're going to talk. Yo, CTR, what's good, man? Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody. Everybody in the chat. I appreciate y'all. All right, so let's get into it, man. We gotta talk. We gotta talk about a few things. Obviously, this has kind of been the buzz for like the last few days now, right? And you know, I definitely want to talk about it from my perspective. Only because, like, you know, it's a very interesting conversation, obviously, with, you know, everything that's going on, all the spaces, the tweets. You see a lot of people, you know, getting angry and people selling their Xboxes and all these different things. And until recently, as recently as this afternoon, where Phil Spencer put out a tweet, which we'll talk about that as well. You know, there really hasn't been much being said. And, you know, there was rumors going around about how Sarah Bond was going to be speaking either this week or no, excuse me, she was going to be speaking in the spring or something like that about Xbox or something like that was floating around. I got to find the tweet. Then there was a rumor today that Phil Spencer was going to be speaking to CNBC. Right? That turned out not to be true. But Phil Spencer did put out a tweet today saying that they would be outlining their strategy next week, right? So we're going to talk about that. I do want to tackle this. Oh, real quick, before I continue, make sure you guys check out What's Up PlayStation Podcast. This Saturday's episode was fire with me and Bari. Make sure you guys go check that out too. Link is in the description. Anyway, so from that angle too, so there's multiple ways that I want to talk about this, because this can tend to be a very heated topic for certain people, right? I do want to start by saying this, right? I do believe that for the people who, and I've said this in a couple of spaces already between last night and today, I do think that the people who are voicing their disdain about this and being very vocal about how they're not feeling exclusives and things like that going to competing platforms, I stand with them. I agree with them. I agree with the sentiments. I do agree that, you know, with as long as you're being respectful, if you know, being disrespectful to people and developers and all, you know, y'all know I don't move that way. I don't condone that regardless where it is, right? But for the people who are, you know, being vocal and speaking on how much they do not like what could potentially be happening when it comes to Microsoft's exclusives potentially going to, you know, with the rumors of like, you know, certain exclusives going to, you know, other platforms. And, you know, you would think it's just old games. I know we saw Hi-Fi Rush and possibly Sea of Thieves, but now we're seeing rumors of like Indiana Jones, and I seen some list where they had like Halo and Gears on there and all, and I was like, what? You know, like it's kind of, I seen one with like Hellblade 2 could potentially be going to competing platforms and all this other stuff. And I was just like, yo, there's too many for me looking at it. Cause like, honestly, when I first seen it, I wasn't really going to entertain it. Cause I'm just like, you know, it's social media, right? Like, you know, one or two things, like, you know, we already knew that people were, you know, Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves could potentially be coming. That was something that people have been floating around for a while. So it's like, why even entertain that? You know, it's no reason. But you know, the rumors have now grown exponentially, and that list has grown exponentially to now become something where Microsoft could potentially be looking at incorporating its competing platforms into its overall strategy for profits and growth, right? And putting more games into onto those platforms, right? Now, obviously, I don't think it would be everything, but there is this idea that there will be there is this rumor and this thought process that there are going to be many more titles that will release on competing platforms. And obviously with news like this, it got the community in a frenzy. It got them in an uproar. It got folks. Whew, yo, for me, I'm kind of like still kind of speechless with everything that has been said so far, or, you know, people's thoughts and all these different things. And obviously these things are rumors, right? Like, this stuff is rumors. Like, we know that obviously, you know, things cannot be happening the way it is. It could be, but I want to start. So like I said, I want to start in three places. I do want to talk about the Phil Spencer tweet, one, and what I think that what will come of that next week. I do want to talk about, kind of just give my own personal opinion. Well, excuse me, I'll save my own personal opinion for the end. I do want to speak on certain things that I'm seeing certain people say in the community. And obviously, I'm going to show certain tweets or whatever. Obviously, my disagreement is always going to come from a place of, you know, I'm not calling people out personally or whatever, but I will disagree. And it's gonna be somebody, you know, I don't like how the tweet, I want to speak on how the tweet is worded, because what I'm seeing people tend to do, and listen, I think competition is good. I think competition is important, right? There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I think competition is very important. But what I'm seeing certain people do is bring PlayStation in as like this and try to make PlayStation out to be this big bad guy of, oh, if Microsoft fails, then PlayStation is going to, you know, destroy the industry. Like, this weird shit that just, they're trying to frame it in a way of if you know, Microsoft's failing means doom and gloom for all of gaming, because now PlayStation is going to ruin gaming, or who's going to keep PlayStation in check. All this weird shit, right? Well, I'm just like, can we stick to the topic? Like, you know, these whataboutisms, or trying to you know, Games for Eternity, what's good? Trying to, like, you know, shift the topic from what it is. Like, I just see a lot of that happen. I'm sitting there and I'm like, guys, what? You know, like that shit just doesn't make sense to me. So, you know, I do want to talk about that to a degree. And then obviously just give my overall thoughts on everything to the end. But I do want to start with Phil Spencer's tweet. I do want to start there because it is recent and it's important, right? So shout out to my boy Philip Bartholomew J. Spencer. Shout out to my boy. Hold on, let me pop out the chat. I want to pop out the chat too so that you know, we can see all this together. All right. Oh shit. What the hell? I pressed the wrong button. My fault. Sorry about that. Guys, it's been a minute. Cut me some slack. Cut me some slack. All right. Here we go. What's happening? Okay, there we go. I don't know why my monitor does that. Anyway. All right. Plus, I got the chat here because my camera's here, so I can see the chat. I can see what we all talking about. So here we go. Let's get into it. All right. So shout out to my boy Philip Bartholomew J. Spencer, my boy. He, you know, he put out that tweet, man. He had to quell the flames a little bit because I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, these last couple of days, it's been kind of crazy. Like, you know, with what a lot of Xbox fans been saying, the spaces I've heard and clips and think tweets I'm seeing on the timeline has been crazy. So Phil Spencer, you know, obviously people was thinking that he was going to go on CNBC today. That was a rumor that was floating around, but that got debunked. But Phil Spencer did put out a tweet pretty much saying, you know, we're listening and we hear you. We've been planning a business update event for next week where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox. Stay tuned. Listen. Yo, listen. Listen. I ain't no CEO. You know, I don't run no $1 billion or $1 trillion company. You understand? I ain't that. All right. So I ain't even gonna pretend to be that. But for me, yeah, I see Barry's comments, man. Barry, funny guy. I believe it. Hey, yo, Barry comments funny as fuck. For me personally, if I was somebody that was like a super hardcore Xbox fan and I was seeing something like this, I'd be like, that's not enough, right? I personally, first off, we hear you, we listen to shit, whatever. Yo, stop. Obviously, that's the PR speak. You got to quell the community, blah, blah. Yo, listen, man. Stop, man. Cut it out. I personally feel, this is what I think. I think that for Phil Spencer, obviously, you know, he had to say something, right? I don't think they could let this go on for another day without at least saying something. Like, hey, look, guys, even if it is something like, yo, look, we got something coming next week, blah, blah, blah. I feel they should have put something out this week. Because, and the reason why I'm saying that is because there's a lot of there's a lot of Xbox fans that are really restless, really restless. And I feel like, you know, obviously a company gonna move how they move, but I do think that they should have said something this week of like, look, you know, at least to quell, because right now everybody is like, there's all these crazy ideas and thoughts and things going into the head where like you got a lot of, especially like a lot of the Xbox fans that I'm hearing, where they're cycling, they're spiraling. You know, oh, it's going to be whole slate. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. Da, 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 da. Like, you know, you got people spiraling. I think for Phil Spencer, he should have ripped that Band-Aid off slightly, right? Obviously, don't do a whole thread explaining everything. No, but I do think he should have at least said, listen, guys, you know, some of what you heard is true, but we will explain in detail our vision for the future of gaming when it comes to how we do business and what this means for Xbox. Stay tuned. Now, obviously, that's not going to keep people from It's not going to keep people from like being angry or feeling some type of way or whatever, but at least there's some type of confirmation that can hold people over until next week. Because next week feels like a lifetime from now. And you best believe everyone, regardless of what platform you play on or what you prefer, everyone is going to tune into that so that they can see what Microsoft's future and what their strategy is. What this also tells me, right? And again, I'm on the outside looking in. We don't know, but what reading this tweet, what it tells me is some of it might be true. Because typically Phil Spencer would be like, guys, look, this is not coming here, whatever. But here's the other thing with me, right? I personally feel that with Phil Spencer, and I'm not even going to single out Phil Spencer. I'm just going to say, like, for Xbox in general, they've been having to constantly explain themselves when it comes to what's exclusive and what's not, because there's always this shadow of a doubt of, oh, well, this may go, this isn't going to go, whatever. Like, they're always in this defense mode and having to explain themselves. They've been doing this for a while, since really ZeniMax, right? Since they locked down ZeniMax, they had to explain ZeniMax. They had to explain why this wasn't going on, this would stay and this wouldn't go, and case by case, and this, that, and And it's just been this constant cycle ever since of, well, Phil, you said this wasn't going to go, but rumors are saying this. Is it going? Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, it is going. Like, it's just like, yo, I do wish that Microsoft would be a bit, and obviously we might get that here with this. So, my wish may come true next week, but I do wish that Microsoft would be a little bit more forward in that strategy. Now, obviously you ain't got to give the whole playbook, right? You don't have to give the whole playbook, but what I do wish is that, or what I do hope with what Phil Spencer is talking about with this business update event next week, whatever that is, if it's a video, a premiere, whatever that might be, I do hope that it definitively outlines what Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond or whoever comes out, Matt Booty, whoever comes out, they all come out, or Phil might just be the only one there, who knows? But if he comes out in front of the camera or whatever, or a blog post, whatever, and tells you the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, but also go into detail where moving forward, there is no guessing game of, well, this is what it is, this is what it isn't. And I think, and this is why I think it's two sides to this, because a part of me does believe that, because I know there was some rumors about, and I forget if it was Jeff Grubb or I forget who said it. I forget specifically who said it, but I know there was another rumor floating around about how internally there's been a lot of kind of like a tug of war going on, where the strategy of, putting things on competing platforms or not putting things on competing platforms, there was that conversation going back and forth. And the rumor is that putting things on other platforms won out when it came to the decision that was decided, right? Obviously, we won't know until next week if he talks about this, but I do think that for Phil Spencer and team, they do need to be, like, for lack of a better term, they need to be brutally honest. Enough with the games, enough with, the what ifs, because what's happening is, from where I'm sitting and where I see it, with what I'm seeing going on with a lot of people, especially in this community, in the community where we all tend to congregate, is what I'm really talking about. What you have here is people creating these crazy scenarios, even with these acquisitions, even with Activision, these scenarios of this isn't going, this is going, and then, the rumor of Call of Duty not going to Game Pass and this, that. Listen, to stop this and to move forward and not have to deal with this again, and to put people not necessarily in check, but to let them know, look, this is what it is. I think Phil Spencer needs to come out and be brutally honest, because regardless of what's said, because even if it's only some titles or not all titles, or if it's all titles, or it's going to be a staggered release where, like, they'll release first on Xbox and PC and then maybe later, the point is it happening or is it not happening? And if it is happening, to what degree? If it's everything and it's only going to be a timed release, I personally think Phil Spencer needs to be honest and brutally honest with the fan base of explaining like, yo, this is what it is. Because as you continue, because we know that Microsoft isn't going to stop acquiring studios. We know that Microsoft is not going to stop buying games and all these, buying studios and investing in gaming or whatever the case may be. We know that. So, you know, if it comes a time where they acquire, you know, a Sega's, you know, I'm just speaking hypothetically. If there comes a time where they acquire a Sega or whatever, you know, going into that acquisition, or you know, when it comes to even just what's existing. So, Activision, ZeniMax, and even some of their in-house studios, you know what to expect going forward. And with that information, you can make a decision. Continue to remain on the platform and support that ecosystem, or go elsewhere, or you know, go to PC, wherever. But I think stringing the fan base along this long and kind of dancing around, oh, you know, case by case, and then, you know, we seeing the whole stuff with Pete Hines and what that was being talked about with, oh, well, how come their games get to go, but when we wanted to, blah, blah. Like, listen, man, even internally, some of these teams don't know what's happening. That is not good. I think for Microsoft, in their best interest, and really in the best interest of the fans, personally speaking, you need to be brutally honest, and you need to kind of just put it all out on the table of like, hey, look, this is what it is, right? And the justification for that might be because, listen, one thing that I said a long time ago, like a year, maybe a year and a half ago, or whenever the Activision acquisition first got announced. One of the things that I said a long time ago is somebody's got to pay that bill. When I said that, and for those that have been following me for a long time, y'all know, I said somebody's got to pay that bill. Somebody's got to pay the bill. Who's going to foot that bill? For those that have been following me a long time and watching When Persona Speaks, y'all know who's going to foot that bill. Who's footing the bill? Because for investors, they're going to want to see that return on investment rather quickly. But not only that, they're also going to want to see sustained growth. So from an investor perspective, they're looking at like, yo, look, we almost dropped 100 billion in the span of 3 or 4 years. If we want to keep going down this path, we have to make sure that the profits, the revenue and the profits match or on par with what we're trying to do. And I'm not saying revenue and profits from the Windows division or the cloud division. They're talking strictly the gaming division. If we're going to keep going down this path, we need to expand. Because, and again, these are just my thoughts, hypotheticals, or whatever. As it stands currently, the Xbox ecosystem within itself cannot sustain the growth of what Microsoft is doing in gaming currently. It can't. PC is supplementing some of that as well, but again, at the rate of which Microsoft is growing, they need more of that. Obviously, they're going into mobile and all these other things as well, like we know that, but in that console sector, they're not the big dog. If anything, it's losing them money. What do you do at that point? As a business, what do you do? And I'm asking that hypothetically. So for Microsoft, they may be looking at it from that perspective, but even if they are looking at it from that perspective, I think Phil Spencer needs to come out and be like, look, guys, because here's the other side. Here's the other side of it. You know, I'm gonna save that because that's gonna kind of point me to certain like influencers, journalists, and certain people in the community that have been pushing a specific rhetoric of, you know, Microsoft being beyond the consoles, or, you know, you've seen a lot of people in the community talking about how exclusives don't matter, exclusives aren't important, right? Or when it came to the, and I see the super chats and everything. I'm gonna get to the super chats, guys. I got y'all. Or when it came to the acquisitions, people were using the argument of, oh, well, you know, they need to compete or whatever, or you're still going to keep Call of Duty, or Microsoft was going out their way to make all these deals to keep games on it, or to satisfy the other console makers and all this other stuff, right? It's just a lot. Yo, Veggie, what's good? It's just a lot of stuff that was being said, and certain things that people were doing, where it's like, now you're looking at that and you're like, you're looking at those same people and you're just like, so exclusives do matter. The console does matter. You weren't saying that a year ago. You weren't saying that during the acquisition of Activision. These things weren't being said. What's happening? You're flip-flopping, but we'll talk about that later. For Phil Spencer, back to Phil Spencer. Stone in the building. Where's Stone at? Hey, shout out to Stone, man. Shout out to Milk and Magnesia in the building. Appreciate you, Stone, coming through. Consumptive Soul, what's good, man? But for Phil Spencer, I really do think that they really need to be direct here. Like, no pun intended. They need to be direct. They need to straight up be like, yo, look, this is what it is, man. This is what it is. This is when it ain't. They have to. At this point, you can't come out on stage and tiptoe. We passed that. Yo, Captain Ply, what's good? They tiptoe. Can't do it. Not here. Not here. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna fly. Not here. It's not gonna happen. But yo, let me get these super chats. Yo, Philip G, man, appreciate you for the super chat. He says, DVG, I mean, Phil, appreciate. He says, this is Xbox's please understand at this point. Potentially, we don't know. We'll see next week. Shout out to Tricelsius for the $20 super chat. He says, do you think Microsoft's strat could be to put their games on competing platforms the rest of the gen? Once enough gamers are enticed, they bring out a new console 1/3 of the way next gen with the games as exclusive. So that's an interesting question. Here's something that Phil Spencer has said before. Something that Phil Spencer said before on Kinda Funny, right? Where he was talking about how for people's digital libraries, a lot of people aren't willing to part ways with their digital libraries. It's very hard to get somebody who's built up a digital library on one specific platform to leave that platform to get to another. That's something he said, I believe it was on Kinda Funny, if I'm not mistaken. If you're putting the most recent games on, or the new games that's coming out, so like let's say Hellblade 2, just as an example. If you're putting Hellblade 2 on PlayStation, right, this generation, and you're putting other games on PlayStation this generation, big titles, even the small titles, the big titles, whatever, mid-sized titles. If you're putting these games on PlayStation and people are buying them, albeit digital or physical, and then you put that next game exclusive on a new console, yes, you might get certain people to go. Yes, I do. But every game doesn't have the power to do that. Very few games have the power to get somebody to get off of one platform for another. Now, maybe a Call of Duty, maybe an NBA or Madden or something like that. Sure, some of those bigger titles, but very few titles, in my opinion at least, have the power to really get somebody to uproot their entire library or spend extra money to get access to another console or ecosystem just to play one or two games. So is it possible? Yes. But for a strategy like that, you'd have to be putting out some serious games that are just like cannot miss, right? And as we know with Microsoft, hopefully that changes, but we know when it comes to quality control and we look at the history of their releases throughout this generation, a lot of people wouldn't be inclined to believe that that's possible. Now, in terms of what they have, in terms of the IPs and things like that. You know, again, I'm not saying it's impossible, but what I'm saying is the likelihood of that number of people that might make that jump being substantial enough to warrant a strategy like that. I don't think Microsoft is looking at that as like, oh yeah, we're going to entice you on our competitor's platform and keep building their library just to come out with a new platform for you to buy into for $500 or $600 for these games. That, for me, that doesn't, and again, to me, that doesn't make sense, personally. Now, it does happen to a degree, and it might take time. Now, here's the other side. The money invested into that, because you have to keep putting out these super banger games that, you know, can't miss it. The money that's being invested into that. Here's the other side. Microsoft's Xbox is currently, it currently isn't selling at the rate of what the competition is. Could that change? Possibly. But I think the money that would have to go into, one, building these big games, enticing building the console, enticing, that's a lot of money that Microsoft might not be willing to spend. Not saying there won't be a new console, but they might not be willing to spend that much money to put that much effort into trying to get people back to the console, and instead we'll just say, you know what, we are going to dominate in these other areas where we know we can continue to make massive profits. When it comes to our gaming sector, we are going to dominate in this area by owning a lot of what's already popular, allowing it to continue to release on these platforms and make and rake in all the money, right? So we can't outsell a Sony or a a Nintendo, a PlayStation or a Nintendo. Phil Spencer himself has said that multiple times, right? So with Phil Spencer saying that, what's the next logical step? Now, again, it's not a step that I agree with. I believe in exclusives. I think exclusives are important, but for the sake of this conversation, let's entertain this conversation. What is the next logical step to ensure that you can maximize your profits within the gaming sector and use that money to either invest in more acquisitions, invest in more games, invest in more deals, or whatever it is that you're going to do, but ensure that you can maximize off those profits? You maximize off those profits by going to the place where you know the games will sell in the console space. I'm not talking PC, because, you know, some do, well, you know, what about PC? You know, the games released on PC, they're doing good on PC. No one's talking about PC. We're talking strictly the console space. Within the console space, what is the next logical step? Do I agree with it? No. Do I think that exclusives are important? Yes. But and to entertain the conversation, what is the next logical step? You're not going to outsell Nintendo. You're not going to outsell PlayStation. Your Xbox series of consoles is actually tracking 2 million consoles behind last generation's consoles. Hardware's been down month over month. They might have a good month here and there, but generally it's down. You're already in this Game Pass cycle, which we'll get to the Game Pass side of things in a minute. What do? And again, I don't think it's going to be all titles. I think they might put certain things here and there or whatever, but they're still going to want, because I do think they still, at least to some degree, care about the console, but it just doesn't seem like it when you look at the optics of the situation, because they're not explaining what's going on and what they're going to do. They're not giving you those details. And anytime they give you some type of details, it's not substantial enough to really paint a solid picture of what you can expect from the future of Xbox in terms of where else these games could potentially release. Because there's always this, case by case, or maybe we said no, but we were just kidding. Here you go. I think they need to stand firm, they need to stand strong, and they need to stand true of what that future looks like. What does it look like? You gotta be honest, man. You gotta rip the Band-Aid off, and you gotta be honest. You have to. You got to. But yo, great question, Try. And then shout out to Caleb Kaiser. Shout out to my boy Caleb in the building. Now people running with Xbox leaving is bad for PlayStation. Yo, Harlem, stick around. I promise we gonna talk about it. I promise we gonna talk about that side of that. I promise. But shout out to Caleb, man. Appreciate you for the super chat. He says, all Philip needs to say next week is 2 words. Hey, yo, Caleb. Hey, yo, Caleb. All Philip needs to say next week is 2 words. Whole slate, then walk off the stage. Yo, Caleb, chill. Yo, shout out to my boy Caleb, man. And then shout out to my boy Damien in the building, man. Damien, 33 months, is a member on the channel. Always appreciate you, Damien. Always, bro. He says, Microsoft is a software company, not a hardware company. They bought those studios to do exactly what is being spoke about, and that's sell software. Yo, listen. Damien, you making a lot of sense. I'm not saying you're not. But I can understand the other side of whole persona hairline. Yo, my hairline is on point, man. I get a haircut next week though, but my hairline on point. What you talking about, Jamal? Whole persona hairline. Be specific, sir. What you mean? My hairline proper. My hairline is proper, Jamal. But yeah, listen. I agree with you, Damien. I do. But at the same time, I understand people. I understand the Xbox community feeling some type of way, especially if you bought into the ecosystem, man. I get it, bro. I understand how Xbox gamers feel, and I agree with how they feel, man. I agree with it. I really, really do, man. I really, really do. I agree. It sucks. If this is something that's really happening, it sucks. Because that individuality is going away. What made the Xbox special for them is now going to potentially going away. I understand, because listen, you're gonna have dudes. Here's my thing, man, and it's why, like, gaming is such a funny hobby. The gaming community is such a funny community sometimes, man, because it's like, you'll have people that'll come up and speak and say, well, the business side of this and that and da-da-da-da, or they'll make these excuses of, oh, well, what did you expect? Oh, it's not that big a deal. I don't care about that piece of plastic. You care so much about, and I'm like, bro, why own all these consoles if the exclusives don't matter? That's something I've been asking for years. Because that's something that PC dudes always be saying. Well, it really is not that big a deal because, the consoles are not that big a deal. And I'm like, yo, why do you own a PlayStation or a Switch if the exclusives don't matter? If you really, truly did not care, you would just own your one console and be good. But you own these other consoles because they offer something that you want. So, in turn, the console does matter. The exclusives do matter. There is no getting around that. The exclusives do matter. Now, is everything going to sell like an NBA or a 2K? Absolutely not. But the exclusives, especially if you're putting out great games, are enticing enough to warrant you wanting to purchase that piece of plastic for those games. Because if that was the case, if the console didn't matter, Nintendo would have put their shit on PC a long time ago. They wouldn't even be making no consoles no more, or handhelds, or whatever they doing. Same thing with PlayStation. It's still making them money. It's still a big part of their business, which is why you see PlayStation and Nintendo doing third-party deals and third-party exclusives and second-party exclusives, and PlayStation's investing in the China hero market, the Indian hero market, the Korean market, and all these different things. All these investments happening in gaming. Why? Yo, Viper, man, I appreciate you for the super chat, man. He says, do you think Sony will risk giving Microsoft a dev kit for the PlayStation 6 at the risk of them possibly trying to steal tech and make a new console? That's a good question. So here's what I think, right? And let's play with hypotheticals. I think that when it comes to a PlayStation 6 or even a PS5 Pro, right? Let's entertain that conversation. If Microsoft, yo, Jamil, I want you to come in here too. Jamil, I'm gonna send you, jump in the Discord because I want to talk to you about this too, because you're an Xbox guy, true and true. So I definitely want to hear your thoughts. I think when it comes to how Microsoft is moving, right? If they truly are moving in a direction where they are going third party, and I'm saying full on third party, not this here, a little bit there, but if Microsoft is definitely going full on third party, I can see PlayStation giving them a dev kit to get those games. I can see that for sure. But that commitment of being third party has to be there. If that commitment of being full third party isn't there, I don't see. Well, listen, they got PS5 dev kits. Who knows? I could see it as a potential if Microsoft is going full third party. I could see that. But we'll see. Who knows? Yo, shout out to Cobb Sanity, man. Appreciate you for the super chat. He says, I thought Game Pass was great for gamers. Sales matter. Yo, first of all, Cobb, appreciate you for the super chat. I think that so here's my thing on Game Pass, man. And listen, we've been having the Game Pass argument for years, bro. Like it's like beating a dead horse, no pun intended, right? This whole Game Pass thing is yo, we've been talking about this for so long. I'm gonna say this. Does Game Pass have a place in gaming? Yes. All of these subscription services do. Nintendo Online, PS Plus, and Game Pass and all that stuff. They absolutely do have a place in gaming. I'm not going to say they don't. I do think they have a place in gaming and they do serve a purpose. And again, something I've been saying, and I'm going to keep saying it till I'm blue in the face, no pun intended. When it comes to Game Pass and Microsoft's strategy coming out the gate, I do think that they were a bit too bullish when it came to proclaiming that they were going to put all of their day one game, all of their AAA games or all of their exclusives into the subscription service day one. I do not think that was a smart strategy or a smart thing to say out the gate, because now you pigeonhole yourself into having to commit to that once you get things that are costing you more to make. Because you guys gotta remember, Game Pass came out 2017. So I was like, what is that? 7 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. Yeah, 7 years, because we're in 2024. No, listen, it was a couple years ago, quite a few years ago. Almost, it was a lot of years, right? And when it comes to the cost of making games back then to the cost of making games now, that number has jumped exponentially. Just look at the money that's going into PlayStation making these big AAA, big budget games like the Horizons, the God of Wars, the Spider-Mans, and the Wolverines, and all these other, and then the investments into locking down those second and third party deals, right? The cost to make these games have continued to grow. And the thing that I think people continuously get misconstrued with Microsoft is Microsoft a $1 trillion company? Yes. Is Microsoft a company that is making a lot of money within technology? Absolutely. Are they the richest company in the world? Yes. Just because they are the richest company in the world does not mean that they are going to be willing to continuously to put money into something that is not returning on investment. This goes for Game Pass, but this also goes for the acquisitions. You are not going to spend all of this money and not expect a substantial amount of return on that investment. And I think when it came to Game Pass, Microsoft only had maybe 10 studios, because I remember in 2017 they also announced that they acquired a bunch of studios like Playground and Playground and Compulsion and Obsidian and all these other studios that they had acquired at that E3 back in 2017 as well. So they were making those investments, but the kind and caliber of games that are now being made with these newer acquisitions require a substantial amount of return on investment. And I do think this is why you're not seeing games released as frequently in terms of caliber, in terms of size, from from Microsoft at a rapid rate, despite having all of these people under its belt. And so I think when it comes to the Game Pass side of things, I do think that they should not have been as bold as saying, yeah, all games going to Game Pass day and day. Now, obviously, to the gamer, they're hearing that and saying, oh, great, I don't have to spend money on these games. Like, oh, great, I get to save $1 or $2. Oh, great, I don't have to spend $70 like PlayStation. Oh, that's great. That's all people are thinking and hearing. But when that snowball effect hits and it tumbles down the road, we get to where we're at now, where they're now floating the idea of putting these games on competing platforms. That's what's happening. And not saying that Game Pass is the sole reason why, but Game Pass is a variable in the overall equation of what we're looking at here now today. It is a variable, and not necessarily Game Pass. Let me rephrase that. It's not Game Pass. It's the day and date aspect of Game Pass. It's not Game Pass itself. It's the day and date aspect. That specific variable, in my opinion, is a contributing factor to what we're seeing here today. Because I guarantee if Microsoft would have just left the door crack, leave the door crack, right? Where we're coming out with this Game Pass service and we're gonna put certain games in there on a case-by-case basis day one, but other titles will be premium releases. No harm, no foul. No harm, no foul, because it can be anything. Anything. It doesn't have to be the AAA titles. There's no harm, no foul. And you leave the door cracked. They were too bullish. They were way too bullish. But yo, appreciate you, Cobb, for the super chat. Yo, big shout out to, what's the name? Super Nifty Susie 1. Shout out to you. I don't think I ever seen you in the chat. Shout out to you, Super Nifty Susie. And they say, what do you think is the future for Blizzard? Will they have more layoffs? That's an interesting question. So I think with Blizzard, I think they've cleaned house. I don't expect to see any more, because listen, 1,900 people, and even though that wasn't all from Blizzard, I'm pretty sure there was a substantial number of people coming from Blizzard. I don't know. I mean, this year has already been kind of crazy when it comes to it's already been kind of crazy when it comes to how they've been moving and a lot of the layoffs that we're seeing. So honestly, I can't say with confidence that we won't see more layoffs at Blizzard. We might. We really might. I don't know. Because we're still continuously seeing a lot of layoffs happening from all within the game industry. So I would have to say, yeah, I think we will. Based off the track record of what we see happening within the game industry for the past year and 2 months now, I would say yes, we will. Based off that track record. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not. History is shown that it's going to continue. Yo, Spearman, appreciate you for the super chat. He says, bots are losing their heads. I love it. Ah, man, Spear, come on. It is Spear. Appreciate you for the super chat again. He says, I'm having too much fun. Ah, man. Yo, Straight Bleach, what's good? Yo, Persona, my mans, these Xbox dudes is in shambles after that ABK talk. Hey, yo, look, we gonna get to that. Let me see if Jamil in the chat. Is Jamil in here? Let me see. I definitely want to get Jamil thoughts. I definitely want to get Jamil thoughts, man. In a little bit, I'm gonna come back in there with Jamil getting. But so there's that, right? Now, the other, you are? Well, I don't see you. I'm gonna open the chat for everybody too. I kind of do want to talk with the community on this one too. But the other side of it that I want to talk about too is, the community. The community. I want to talk about it from a community side of things. Now listen, before I show the tweet that I want to talk about, because one thing that I'm seeing, guys, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm seeing a lot of people try to connect this with PlayStation. Like, oh, if Microsoft goes full third party and, there's no competition for PlayStation, then, PlayStation is going to ruin the industry and game prices are going to explode and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm kind of just sitting here and I'm like, what are you talking about? What? And there's a specific tweet I want to talk about, man. Where's my bookmarks? Oh, more. There we go. Where's the tweet? Let me find the tweet. Did I bookmark the tweet? I thought I bookmarked the tweet. Oh shit. I thought I bookmarked it. I thought I bookmarked the tweet. I didn't bookmark the tweet, guys. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Real quick. I hope he ain't delete the tweet. Yo, I think he deleted the tweet. No. Hold up. Yo, where's this? Hold on. I gotta find. Yo, hold on. Let me see if I can find this tweet, guys. Hold up. Okay, I'm not seeing it on his timeline. Where is this tweet? No way. I gotta find it. Let me see. Yo, stop playing. Yo, I think yo. Yo, ayo, Barry. You know what tweet I'm talking about? See if you can see the tweet. No way this tweet got deleted. No way this tweet got deleted. No way. Yo, Barry, check and see if you see the tweet, bro. Something went wrong when trying to load. No. I don't see the tweet. Yo. Yo, hold on. I think I screenshot it, guys. Hold up. I think I screenshot it. Hold up, man. Let me see. Oh, yo, listen. Nothing is ever truly. Yeah, the one from earlier, Barry. Hold on, guys. Hold up. I'm trying to see. Let me see if this is it. I have to see if this is the right tweet. Yeah, this is it. For some reason, I can't find this tweet on the timeline, though. is gone. Lord have mercy. Listen, we're gonna talk about it. Listen, nothing. One thing I will say, ladies and gentlemen, always remember, nothing is truly deleted on the internet. As if there's one lesson that you need to learn in life, it's that always be mindful of the things that you post or say on the internet, because one day it may come back to bite you. So always be mindful of that. But luckily, with my quick thinking, here we go. All right, here we go. I do want to talk about this, right? Let me go to here. I got y'all. I want to open this. How do I open? Open. There we go. Listen, I want to talk about this because and again, I do want to put, before I show the tweet, I do want to put the disclaimer out here, right? You know, I'm only speaking on the gaming point, right? I'm not speaking on anything else but the gaming point. You know, I'm not trying to come at anybody personally or anything like that. Like, I don't do that stuff. I'm only talking on the gaming points or the gaming takes, you know, so let me just put that disclaimer out there, right? But let's get into it, all right? So I'm using this tweet as an example, but I'm only using that as an example because I do want to speak about it from that perspective of PlayStation when it comes to everything that's going on with Xbox, right? Okay. So, shout out to Paris. You know, he's he got thick skin, so he ain't going. I don't think he'll take this offensive, but you know, it is what it is. But you know, shout out to Paris. But Paris, you know, he put out a tweet, and I saw it, and I was just like, what? You know, like it didn't make no sense to me, right? And I was just like, what are we like? $100 games and $1,000 consoles. Like, what are we talking about here, right? Like, it did not make any sense to me. Like, and I was just like, yo, what the hell? So, you know, Paris, he put out a tweet earlier today. Was it today? Yeah, because today's he put out a tweet earlier today, and he said, for those worried about the PlayStation 6 being $1,000 with $100 games is why it's essential that Xbox keeps a hand on the wheel when it comes to hardware. My biggest concern would be the lack of competition on hardware, throttling innovation and keeping pricing in check. With that said, I think we will continue to see Xbox hardware for generations to come. I don't even know what to say. I'm gonna be honest. Like, when I first read this, I was kind of speechless. I was just like, first off, I'm curious, who's worried about a PlayStation 6 being $1,000 and $100 games? Let's tackle the first part. So $100 games, right? There, you know, because a lot of people have this notion that, you know, PlayStation introduced $70 games into gaming and they were the first ones to do it, which is not true. It was actually, funny enough, it was actually the people that Microsoft just bought, Activision. Call of Duty and NBA 2K were the first two titles, or one of the first set of titles to release for $70 for next gen or for current gen. Did Microsoft also do it as well? Yes. I mean, excuse me, PlayStation. PlayStation did as well, yes. But PlayStation is the ones that ushered this in. The pioneers of that were Activision and 2K, and the industry followed suit. Because again, when you're taking gambles like that within the industry, it's best to take that gamble with something, you know, people can't not buy. which is why you saw Zelda Tears of the Kingdom released for $70. Because no one's not going to buy Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. That's one of the most anticipated games of the year last year. No one was not going to buy that game. And it became the norm. The industry followed suit, and it became what it was. But I think when it comes to this notion, because this is the only tweet that I've seen of this, and this isn't the only person that I've seen really talk about try to bring PlayStation in as pretending to be worried at the fact that, oh, well, now with PlayStation not having true competition, quote unquote, they're going to just go crazy when it comes to pricing of games and all this other stuff. First of all, and then the other side of it, when it comes to innovation, PlayStation has always been one of the leaders when it comes to innovating within the game industry. Actually, quite a few things that Microsoft took from PlayStation is now incorporated into their now new next-gen console. Can you say share button, anybody? The DualSense and the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. The Decima engine. PlayStation VR 2. At least within the console space, they've led the charge with that. A lot of things that PlayStation has done last generation or even this generation, they have been the pioneers or have led the charge with it. Not saying that Microsoft also does not have innovations and have not innovated, but I feel like the wording here is to suggest that without Microsoft being there, PlayStation wouldn't be innovating within the console space or within gaming. I don't agree there. Not saying that Microsoft needs to go or Xbox needs to go away. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I just feel like that notion of without Xbox, PlayStation is going to ruin gaming, or gaming is going to go down the drain. It because of PlayStation and their practices just seems strange. It seems strange to immediately run to that type of talking point in light of the current situation. And we tend to forget that Nintendo's there as well. Listen, as much as a lot of people try to put this, oh, well, Nintendo's not really in the competition and they're just doing their own. Stop it, please. Nintendo is in competition with everyone. They might not be getting 100% of the same games, but Nintendo is still somebody that is putting out games to entice people to buy into their platform in their ecosystem. They are still competing for your dollars to get your money. So we got to stop this, man. Stop that. Because people conveniently always forget about Nintendo. Well, Nintendo, they're in their own world. They're doing their own. Yo, Sick, what's good? You ain't no Persona. It was Xbox success that made PlayStation success. Yo, Sick, you funny. But I don't know. This tweet, to me, seeing this tweet, it just spelled doom and gloom to me. Well, I'm just like, bro, why are we talking about a PlayStation 6? Really? And the thing about the competition talk, because I do think there's still somewhat of a competition thing with Microsoft having the money that they have and all this other stuff. But last generation was a bloodbath for Xbox. PlayStation absolutely had the upper hand going into this generation and going into and having the good races of gamers. They left last generation selling 125, 130 million consoles. Had some of the hottest games to release that generation, the most games to release that generation, broke all types of records. So going into this generation, they could have definitely been bullish and big-headed and be like, oh, well, we're going to release this innovative console for $800. That would be console suicide for anybody. Now, people will say, well, what about the PlayStation 3 generation? PlayStation 3 generation, the cell architecture is really what put the PlayStation in that price point of what it was. And they failed, and they learned their lesson from that. And even during the PS3 generation, they still edged out Microsoft by like 4 or 5 million consoles and still had the best games. even though they were trailing behind for so long. And what about the PS2 generation? The PS2 generation, PlayStation was king. They were king. They had the game industry by its throat. 152 million consoles sold. No other console has gotten to that yet. Or has it? I think the Wii U is pretty damn close. Switch might get there. Had it by its throat. Nobody was coming up on that PS2 and touching that PS2. And PlayStation knew it. They had all the games. They had everything locked down. So, I say all that to say this. The doom and gloom that we tend to see. And you know what? Zero Steel? You just sparked something else. You just sparked something else in my brain. Shout out to the PS3, because PS3 was definitely the first ones to have all that innovation when it comes to the Wi-Fi, HDMI, and all that stuff, replaceable drive and all that stuff back in PS3. But PS2. Remember how crazy it was with the PS2 and all the things you can do? Watch the DVDs and you could play online and all this other stuff. Seems pretty innovative to me. Listen, I want to hear y'all thoughts, man. I want to talk to y'all for a little bit. I want to talk to the good people. Yo, if y'all want to come through, man, feel free. I do want to hear y'all thoughts. I'll put the link in the chat. That my boy Jamil. Yo, Jamil, what's good, man?
I'm good. What's going on?
Hey, man, talk to me, man.
1 second. I'm switching. Okay, there we go. What's the phrase? Walk the dog, don't let the dog walk you.
Mm-hmm.
So why? Okay, Xbox leading with Game Pass has always been an issue for me. I don't care about day and date. I don't care about all the stuff people care about when they say how good it is or how bad it is. For me, it's just an ass backwards approach of, okay, Game Pass launched in 2017. They started the acquisitions in 2018. So they started introducing all these perks. Okay, you'll get day and date. You'll get all these other little things going on with Game Pass. But they hadn't built up the content yet. So they're leaning on third-party games and smaller indie games being in Game Pass to be the driving force. So then you look up and it's 6-7 years later and there's no growth. Like, it's stagnant. And I think it's because they let the dog walk them. Okay, so I have an alternate idea of how Game Pass could have worked. The acquisitions were going to happen. This isn't stuff that's, decided on in a day. They were thinking about acquiring these studios for a year or two at least, before they started doing it. So you're going to have a bunch of studios under your control and eventually a bunch of games. Get these studios first. Create an uptick in content. Then make it a perk to be in the Xbox ecosystem by saying, okay, well, we have this service, Game Pass, and we have all our first party games where maybe they'll put a couple of them in the service right away. Maybe they'll make a tier system where if you're a member for so long, or if you're active for a certain amount of time, or a certain level of activity, then we'll give you a substantial discount on first party games. That's something where, like, if I'm a person that's gonna buy Halo anyway, or I'm gonna buy Forza anyway, or whatever, then that's a perk. I'm like, okay, I'll get Game Pass and I'll save some money on Halo or whatever else. And there's all these other games I can try out that I might not have bought before. Maybe I'll, whatever. just something like that. I think that just the idea of having a service and then you buy all these studios and then you put out all these games. There's no motivation from like I have not purchased a first party game. The only first party game I've purchased since Game Pass has been out has been the $300 edition of Starfield.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, you bought the collector's edition for that?
yeah,
Okay.
I bought that.
Mm-hmm.
I bought one of the collector's editions for Forza Horizon. I don't remember which one, and I might have bought one of the Gears. I don't remember. I've only bought a couple of first party games, and I'm a person I buy a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
I still continue to buy third party games that don't drop on any services or whatever. If they, if I'm iffy on a game and I hear it's going to be in a service, I'll wait for it to be in a service. But if I want the game, I'm buying the game. I'm not waiting for anything to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like I still buy my games. But Game Pass for me, and I've been a sub since day one, has been to try new games that I typically won't try. Like everybody knows, and some people clown me for it or whatever, but like I'm not big on Final Fantasy. But I've played Final Fantasy games because they were in Game Pass. I'm like, let me just try. Maybe I'm tripping. Let me try again. There's value in that to me because there's other games that I'm like, well, maybe I wouldn't have ever bought it. Smaller games. I'm like, let me try them. Oh, okay, this is pretty cool. Like the next one to come out, I'll buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the value is for me. But if Xbox is in the business of creating games themselves, that's not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
I can't have the attitude of, well, I'll try it when it comes on the service, and then it's going to stay on the service forever. So there's never a need for me to buy it. The only way that they get any money out of me is if it's a game that's a service as well. Like I'm going to buy a bunch of cosmetics or I'm going to buy a season pass or whatever the case is. That's the only way they're going to get additional money out of me. So I just always thought that was backwards. I always felt like they should have acquired the studios, got more content under their belt, used it as an incentive, like center the console around games, and then use the service as a perk and say, hey, if you join the service, you have access to all these games and we'll give you a discount on your first party, and not no 10% discount when it's about to leave, but like 30, 40, 50%. Say, hey, you can get Halo for $30. If a new Halo dropping next month and they say, hey, you can get Halo for $30. If you've been a Game Pass member for 3 months or 6 months, or you've played or you've reached tier 3, if they create a tier system or something like that, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, so from your perspective as somebody that, because, you've been a long time Xbox fan, so from your perspective, do you feel that with the rumors that's circulating Microsoft and then potentially, putting more games onto PlayStation, and not just, the Call of Duties, we're talking like, the titles that you were expecting to be exclusive, how does that affect you as a longtime Xbox fan and your faith in the brand going forward?
That's a tricky question because faith is an emotion. I tend to not be emotionally married to the brands. I am a fan of Xbox, but I'm a fan of gaming, so it's just Xbox by proxy. I'm a fan of gaming, so for me, I'll look at it like this: if Indiana Jones comes on PlayStation day one, right? By me subscribing to Game Pass, I'll just play it on Xbox because it's already there. If it were available to buy on both consoles, then for me it would be just a matter of, because my library is more on Xbox, I would buy it there. If it were a multiplayer game, then I'm like, who's playing? Which of my friends are playing? Do I have more friends playing over here or over there? Do I double dip? That's how I make my gaming decisions. And so for this news to be coming out, I'm not bothered because I'll play it on PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like,
so let me ask this follow-up. Do you think that some of the outrage that you're seeing from other Xbox fans within social media, do you think that outrage is valid, or do you think that it's an overreaction? I was going to get to that question.
I think it's neither. I think it's just more exposing what I've always said. And we go back. So it goes into what I've always said. this is some LARP, some live action role play, pseudo game banging stuff. People need to feel like they belong to something. And the only difference between a lot of Xbox fans and a lot of PlayStation fans is that PlayStation fans pick the right brand. They pick the right team. We Bloods and Crips out here, and the Crips they just shot up the Blood neighborhood. That's the difference. They shot up the neighborhood. You was on the wrong team, because if the shoe was on the other foot, it'll be the same exact reaction. So for me, that's why I'm like, I have fun. We can do the memes, we can debate, we can argue and all this stuff. But man, I want to play a game.
Yeah.
This is all I said. I want to play a game. I'm gonna laugh at this stuff because it's not even an overreaction. I expected the reaction. You got Tim Dog out here writing Stan Part 2. Like, I heard the skin beating my head when I was reading that tweet. It was like, I was expecting you guys could have emailed me back. Dear Xbox, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling.
So for you, if Microsoft comes out next week, or Phil Spencer, whoever comes out next weekend, they do lay out a strategy that does involve incorporating more titles, releasing on their competing platforms. It's no harm, no foul for you. Your faith in Xbox isn't shaking. You're still going to remain.
Not even that, because it's not a faith in Xbox. I'll tell you.
All right, let me stop saying faith, not faith, but like, this doesn't impact you buying into the Xbox ecosystem.
It does. No, it does.
Oh, okay.
It does. Let's say next generation starts tomorrow. What's my motivation for buying an Xbox at this point? Right? If the whole slate goes on PlayStation, my only motivation would be to save money on buying the games by having Game Pass. So I would have to buy another $500-$600 console and then pay $15 a month. It'll probably be $20 a month by that point. And then I say, okay, now it's time to do the math. How much am I spending a year on Game Pass? How many first-party games are y'all releasing that makes it worth the investment? Am I actually saving money, or am I wasting money? Because I can play the games on PlayStation. I can save the $600 and buying $40, $50, $60 controllers and doing all this extra stuff, and I could just play on one console.
Okay.
So it would affect my purchase. It would affect how I approach gaming, because really the only things that keep me on Xbox is I have a long friend list of people I've been playing with since the Halo 2 days, and my digital library. But if we're in a new generation, if I want to play the old games, play the old console. Hov said niggas want my old shit, buy my old albums.
Yeah.
I got the Series X. I could just cut that on if I want to play the old stuff.
Sheesh. Man, that's coming from a real Xbox fan, Jamil. Like, I know Jamil a very long time, like over a decade. That's real. That ain't no corporate speak. That's really how you feel.
Yeah. Somebody, my Xbox Live 10 years, 20 years. I'm looking at my profile now. Yeah, 20 years. What am I getting out of 20 years investment if that's what they're doing? I'll just say, okay, well, I'll go where the games are. And I could see if it was like, I'm not talking about a game a quarter. I'm talking about 6 games a year.
Yeah.
If it's like that on Xbox, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the next. Like they dropping bombs, and it's got to be bombs, because we're talking mind share at this point. PlayStation is synonymous with gaming, almost more so than Nintendo has been over the years. I'm speaking as a 42-year-old man who has a mother who used to call games Nintendo.
Yeah.
You got a Nintendo? It's a PlayStation, man. It's a PlayStation. So PlayStation in 2024, parents are saying PlayStation when they're talking about, oh, you got a PlayStation? No, mom, that's a Switch. Oh, that's an Xbox. That's what's being said in 2024. So that happened because you're dropping bomb after bomb franchises. You got, I don't even have to name all the franchises. There's been a lot of good games, and it affords them the opportunity to come out with quirkier titles, smaller titles. And when people say, oh, you got 100 million install base and you only sold 1 million for the I mean, okay, cool. What's selling on Xbox like that? If you take Game Pass out the equation, you hit 1 million and it's a big fucking deal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because they haven't established that same kind of energy in the gaming space.
Yeah.
They haven't. So the only way you reverse that, you better drop bombs every year.
Yeah, like they gotta move. Yeah, they gotta move. I think they're most likely at the point, especially looking at the investments that have already gone into these acquisitions. I think there is definitely, I believe that with the rumors, there is internal conversations of like, yo, look, we need to start putting some of these games elsewhere where we know we're gonna make some money because we're trying to recoup. And put, 17 bill is that ain't cheap, bro.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of goddamn money, man. Especially for a game company. Yo, they are trying to make that back tenfold, man. And they're trying to do it as quickly as possible.
Right.
But
and with that being said, look at all of the IP that's under their umbrella now, right? So if they drop all those games just back to back, all like Call of Duty, Doom, everything that's big, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it an Xbox bomb? If you could play it wherever you want to play it, is it an Xbox bomb? Is this something to say, man, I got to get an Xbox? It's not.
Good point.
It's not. It's a bomb in a business sense. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna sell like hotcakes wherever you put it. If the objective is only to make money at this point, then cool, make the money. Don't play games with me as a consumer. Just go third party. And it's fine. But if you want to say we're over here and you juxtapose yourself against Nintendo and PlayStation and all of that stuff, they have something individual and unique to themselves. And if you're not going to have that, don't be in the space.
There you go. Yo, Barry, what up?
Hey, yo, Jamel, man, wrap it up.
Shut up.
Hang it up. Flat screen. You know what I mean? The old days of Xbox is no more. My thing that I don't understand is you have an example of a product that you heavily incentivize gamers, where you made it attractive enough where gamers go out there and bought into the console, bought into the ecosystem. But now we're 2 generations later and you're moving away from that you saw success from. You know what I mean? There's obviously there's some nuance there. There's other variables when it came to that generation, as far as, a lot of losses and it extending its time due to certain things. But at the end of the day, you had a formula there where the market share, especially here in the US, you had gamers messing with your console. The things that Xbox has been doing midway from the Xbox One to now is everything Xbox gamers don't want. And it's just a constant holding the line, keeping the faith for years and years and years. And then, the writing was on the wall. PlayStation fans was telling people like, yo, the moves that y'all making over there at Xbox, it only makes sense for this stuff to be happening. Buy your games. People was ridiculing people by telling people to buy your games and support the developers that you do like. People was clowning people for actually buying games. Everybody, no matter what month Xbox offering was for Game Pass, it was the best service in gaming. And then all of a sudden, you're telling people Xbox is beyond the console. You're telling people that Xbox is beyond sales. They don't care about sales. They can lose money left and right. They don't care about console sales. Who cares about NPDs? Who cares about this? That all of a sudden changed in a matter of a day when this news broke or this report broke. Everything that these guys have been telling people, they've been lying to people. They've been lying to themselves, all because they want to feel good. Everything that Xbox, I'm talking about the fanboys, not the fan base or fans, the fanboys. Everything they've been doing is to give that perception that Xbox is fine, make sure the feel good. That classic meme where the dog is sitting down the fire. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
The fire is engulfing too much. It's too much flames now. You know what I mean? So Yeah, like me personally, I'm in total agreement with Persona and Xbox fans. Like, yo, yeah, I don't believe that these games should come to PlayStation, but I ain't stopping them. You know, if they can't trust that their fan base, or if their fan base don't have enough support, to get these games out there, then hey, you got to do what you got to do as a business. But at the end of the day, this stuff I've been preaching for PlayStation as well. They don't need that PC bullshit. When you incorporate other platforms into your stuff, this is the stuff that happens right here.
Yep.
We see a perfect example of incorporating a PC back in 2017, back in 2018, whatnot, and then all of a sudden the trickle effect happened where it diminishes your platform and your console. Where people's now thinking like, I don't have to get that game on Xbox. I get it on Steam. And all the glory of graphics, and I don't have to pay online to play your game, and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
It diminishes the console. We're seeing these examples where people just want to just ignore it, shove it under the rug. Now you want to speak up when the actual business plan go out, or the philosophy go out. Now you want to speak up. You should have been honest in the first place, because yeah, these people, they do listen, especially on the Xbox side. They do listen. They listening to you, and everything that you've been saying, they're like, oh, everything's fine. Let's just put our shit on every platform. So now you're hurt. Well, too bad. I'm done. Long-winded.
Oh man, yeah, no, I mean, listen, I agree with, when it comes to how some people in the community have been speaking. You had like, journalists and influencers pushing the narrative and the rhetoric of, Xbox is beyond the consoles, and exclusives don't matter, exclusives are anti-consumer. You had a lot of these talking points and rhetoric being pushed around within the community from influencers and big YouTubers and things like that. Those things are damaging when it comes to a brand or an ecosystem, right? Regardless of what Microsoft endeavors might be in gaming when it comes to the future, if the Xbox platform, because people keep trying to say, well, Game Pass is the platform, not Xbox. Those talking points is why this stuff could potentially be happening, because it's like, okay, well, if Microsoft is beyond consoles and Game Pass is beyond the Xbox, why keep investing into something that is not at the forefront of what's being invested in? I don't think the investment of Activision Blizzard I'm tripping over my words. I don't think the investment of Activision was, did they have Xbox at the forefront of that decision being made? And we know, because they wanted to be in mobile, lockdown PC or whatever, and now what could potentially be them moving to another platform in terms of the competing platforms on the console market. You told us yourself, and when I say you, I mean influencers, journalists, and things like that, and some of the fanboys within the community. You told us yourselves that Microsoft is beyond the console. What did you think being beyond the console looks like? Or talking points of, oh well, Microsoft doesn't really care about console wars, or they're not focused on Nintendo and PlayStation. They don't see them as competition. They see Amazon and Google. That's the shit people were saying. That's crazy. Yo, Forte, what up?
What is up, bro? How you doing today, bro?
Chilling, man. Shout out to my boy Gaming Forte, man. Make sure you guys go check out DPS podcast every Thursday, 9:00 Eastern. Gaming Forte, slow mo. Shout out to them boys over there.
Oh, you be proud of us, man. We officially started doing it on the channel now. So
yes, sir.
We did everything everybody wanted. Get it off ours and put it there. So definitely.
Now you got that dedicated fan base. That's a dedicated
Facts.
base right there. So that's good stuff,
Absolutely.
man.
Yeah. So, dog, man, this has been a day.
Yo.
It's been a day. It's been a 24 hours. It's been a lot of emotions for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
people that's been indebted and basically down with Xbox for the last 20 plus years, and a lot of them feel like everything that they put into it is just gone. And part of that is crazy to me because I've never, as much as I'm a huge fan of the brand, I've never invested that deep into it where I feel like, dude, that's it. I still buy every console because there's something on every console for everybody. You know, exclusives definitely still matter. I think the biggest problem that I think I had with this whole thing is if we're just talking about games like Hi-Fi Rush and stuff like that, because and people keep saying, well, that's hypocritical. That's not the way to look at it. I'm like, listen, not all games are equal. There are games that are made to be able to go everywhere. Those aren't, what games move the needle for you? Does Starfield move the needle? I mean, let's be for real. 10 million copies sold on PC, so a lot of people bought that game. I know people, and this is just more being a person that, works in retail. I actually had people that walked into a store and wanted to buy Starfield, but it's only on Xbox. And they were on PlayStations already. So they already had PlayStation 5. So Xbox convinced these people that they had to go out and buy an Xbox to play this game. And with this being the direction, like I said, normally I don't care about stuff like this. But knowing that this is the direction that Xbox literally not even a year and a half to 2 years ago put out there, you basically hoodwink people into doing this. You basically, and that's a little disrespectful to me. And the biggest thing that really, I won't say hurts because it's not that it hurts. They ain't doing nothing, nobody physically. But I think the biggest thing that's disappointing is everybody endured. Think about the 360 generation, 2011, when they stopped making first-party games for the 360. And then they tried to ramp up for the Xbox One. Then they had that horrible launch. The biggest, this is something that started way back then. The promise of first-party games coming out in 2013 and having a pretty decent launch. But what happened right after that? You closed the majority of your first-party studios. You go into 2015 with 4 first-party studios. Hit where Halo, Gears, and Forza was born at, because that's all you had. You didn't have any other studios to do that. So people persevered. They stuck with you because they love the ecosystem. Just like Jay said, like the majority reason why most people stay on Xbox is because of that long friendship and that ecosystem they had with a bunch of people. That's the main reason I'm still there. I still have people that I play with from 2001. So that's something that keeps me there, mostly due to that. And I've never been the type of person, and I even told you this, Barry, I wasn't even going to buy an Xbox One X. I was going to stick on the same system I had. I was like, well, I'm just going to stay on PC because I was playing Destiny on PC at that time. And I wasn't going to buy an Xbox. And I tweeted it the day it came out. When Bungie came out and said, 60 frames per second, 4K, Xbox One X, PS4 Pro, let's go. I was like, going back to console because I wanted to get away from cheaters. And I said, the only reason I'm doing this is because my friends, like Luca and them, I was still playing with them. And I was like, they're not coming over to PC, so I'm going back to Xbox for that. And I told people right then and there, don't buy an Xbox unless they give you a reason to do it. Well, why are you buying one? Well, Xbox didn't give me a reason. Bungie gave me a reason. So that's the reason I bought my Xbox. So I don't feel bad about spending the money because I'm getting out of it what I want. All of these people you see having these issues right now with the direction that Xbox is going in, they never got what Xbox promised them. And the biggest thing is, like you just said, Xbox, in my opinion, they literally never, they just didn't disprove the conversation around Xbox not being the ultimate platform, the platform that you should invest in, because they didn't talk about it. Like, it was always Game Pass numbers, this, engagement, that. They don't market the system. Even when the system drops, you online, where did you go and actually see prices where they showed the Xbox Series X for $350? Did you see it anywhere?
No, I ain't see that nowhere.
dude, how you gonna have your most powerful console out in the wild with $150 price drop and not talk about it? How you gonna talk about this?
Let me ask you this question. Looking
Yeah.
at the discourse and everything that you see on social media right now, and you know the rumors and everything that's swirling, because now it's a list of games. You know what they now people are saying
Yeah.
Halo and Gears and all this crazy stuff. How much of this do you think is true when it comes to Xbox? Do you think that they are moving into that third party realm of putting things on PlayStation, and this is just the future of them just becoming, I don't want to call it the way of Sega per se, but just becoming a full-blown third party publisher? Do you think that this is the ultimate goal at the end of the day? Do you believe it?
So okay, so it's hard because it's all rumors and speculations until Microsoft comes out and says it.
Of
Now,
course.
when Phil comes out and does a tweet and talks about we hear you, and not really address the conversation and say wait till next week, you kind of just threw gasoline on the fire. Because I mean, you know, it's like give us a week to figure out how we want to combat this and how we want to communicate this to y'all. You know, if this was not true,
That's a good point.
Just get it out the way. But the fact that they said we need a week, I'm like, yo, bro, the house is on fire, and you literally said we got to wait till next week. Come on now. So, if the biggest thing to answer your question directly, if one of those legacy games, if just one of them, if Forza, Gears, Halo, any of those games go over to another platform other than PC, then all of them are going to go. Because at that point, what's going to stop a legacy? If you're not going to keep your legacy titles on the platform, what's going to stop you from not just putting everything over there? So I heard rumors of Forza first. When I heard Forza 5, I was like, okay, that's a niche game, but still, people was like, oh, that's a niche game. People don't care about it. And I was like, wait a minute, PlayStation doesn't have a game like that over there. So if they're willing to put, that was like one of the main selling points. If you were a racer and you wanted to play some type of open world arcade racer that wasn't Need for Speed or something like that, it has some type of compatibility to what Gran Turismo is, but more arcadey, you had to buy an Xbox to get that. So this just lets me know that this all is going to go in that direction if just one of those games go in that direction.
Oh boy, so, next week is going to be, yeah, I thought this week was going to be entertaining. Next week might be better than the Super Bowl. It might be the best thing since sliced bread, bro. Oh boy, I can't wait, man. Yeah, nah, you know, I agree with that, but you know, I just hope that Phil Spencer or whoever's gonna come out, you know, it might be Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, and Sarah Bond. They might all like do like a panel like discussion or something. Who knows? Whatever comes from this update, I just hope that it's clear, concise, and direct. Very direct. Those are the things that I'm looking for looking at this update. I need you to be extremely direct and extremely clear in your future position within gaming when it comes to these games. It's very important.
We talking about Xbox?
Yeah, we're talking about Xbox, yeah.
Nah. That's asking a lot.
I hope, man. I hope, because this is big, man. This is important. And Forte is right. Yo, when it comes to that messaging with that tweet, we hear you, we're listening. Nah, bruh. That's not the tweet of somebody that's like, oh, nah, this is bullshit. We're going to set the record straight. This is them saying, yeah, there's some truth to that, but let's explain. Let me give you the full picture type of thing. That's the tone of the tweet from what I get. But again, these are all rumors until next week. Let's see what's up. But oh boy, the space is going to be entertaining. Is Twitter going to be entertaining? Is YouTube going to be entertaining? I cannot wait. But with that being said, we you know, this was a good conversation. Shout out to Forte, Bari, Jamil, man. Let's get into. Oh, yo, shout out to K-Mac for the super chat. They say Sony was fighting for Xbox gamers in the ABK deal. They try to. Hey, yo, it's funny. The ABK definitely probably sped up whatever was gonna be coming for sure.
Hey man, the deal of the century was Xbox demise.
Crazy. But yo, man, let's.
Yo, real talk though. I want to say this, yo.
Good.
And much respect to the Xbox gamers for finally speaking out and telling the truth about how they felt about the platform that they quote unquote prefer. it took y'all a while. It took something as drastic as this, but yo, this is what happens when you just be honest with the platform that you like. You know what I mean? Like, yo, the Phil Spencer tweet, I feel like, yeah, that man vague as hell. Phil been vague since I known of Phil Spencer. The man never answer or give a direct answer. So even at that event or whatever address that they're gonna have next week or whenever it is, I don't think you're gonna get a direct answer either.
If that's not the case, it's gonna be an L.
It's gonna make you feel good that, oh, these games are exclusive, but he ain't gonna give you a time period. Yo, this man went on Kind of Funny and told people that, yeah, you're gonna get more transparency when it comes to the games and when we're delivering it. And even in that Xbox Direct that they had earlier in January, you don't even know the frame rates or the performance modes of any of those games. Like he was promising that it's Kind of Funny show. It's just crazy, bro. I'm sorry. I'm about to get into the Phil Spencer rant, but go ahead for some.
Nah, you good. Shout out. First of all, that y'all just got a glimpse of what Barry gonna be talking about on his The Jay Barry Show this Wednesday. I can't wait for that. At what, 5, 6 o'clock, Barry? 6? What time that start?
Oh no, I'm home, so like around 5:15.
5:15. That's gonna be entertaining, guys. So don't miss that. But yo, let's get into these outros, man. I appreciate everybody coming through, man. Yo, Jamil, man, you wanna get the people your outro? Jamil, when you gonna start making content, bro?
Man, stuff like this is the reason why I don't. Somebody gonna want to kill me. They go dox me.
Nah, listen, bro. You come from. I think you're one of the more level-headed, true Xbox fans. Where I feel like even if you disagreed or agreed with something Xbox related, it would make sense. Like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, I think you should get back into making some content, man. Put some talking points out there.
Who knows?
Yo, Jamel was supposed to make. Oh my bad. I mean, Uppercase J was supposed to make content for like years ago. I remember he put out a video one time, and then that's it. I was like, what, yo?
Yeah, yo. But his thoughts out there. I know people want to hear, but you know, let the people know where they can find you. You know, if you want them to follow you on Twitter and whatnot.
I guess you can follow me on Twitter, _J, if you want to follow me there. If you want to add me on any of these gaming platforms, the uppercase J, the space uppercase space letter J. Damn, what's my PlayStation? I forgot already.
Uppercase J, I think.
And whatever it is, I don't know. You'll find me there.
Yes,
look on a friend list, and if you see anything remotely close to uppercase J, it's me.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Jamil. Yo, Forte, man, appreciate you pulling up, bro. Let the people know, you know, where they can find you, you know, your podcast, everything, what you got coming to your channels and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate it. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, appreciate it, bro. You guys always do a great job. The one thing I will say before I leave, you talked about how Matt Booty or somebody needs to go out there. This ain't a Matt Booty or a Phil Spencer or even a Sarah Bond problem. This is something higher up that needs to happen because, you know, this is just me believing. I believe that this wasn't an Xbox move. This was more of a Microsoft move because they're the one that's spending the money. I just feel like this is listen, Satya Nadella goes out and does a lot of interviews. He talks about how games needs to go everywhere, how he doesn't believe in exclusives. I feel like this is something the CEO of the company needs to come out and set the record straight, because if Xbox comes out and says this, what is the difference really going to mean? Because everybody is going to feel like this is never going to change. They feel like, well, this is the same dog and pony show. What's going to be different in the future? Versus if the head comes out and basically absolves Xbox of doing anything and it was all basically from the top down, I feel like that would be the better direction to go in. Because I honestly feel like if Phil is the one that has to come out to deliver this message because it doesn't change, Phil will leave. I don't think Phil will be there because if it just doesn't make sense.
But I feel like with Phil, but see, here's the thing. I think for Phil Spencer is the face of the Xbox division and the face of gaming when it comes to that side of the business. I think it's important for him to be the one to deliver those messages because, one, that's who the fans relate to and who the fans are looking at when it comes to wanting answers. I'm not really seeing people tag Satya Nadella, although this may be coming from Satya or the investors in the board. Phil Spencer, I think, still needs to be the one to make that call,
and I don't disagree with you,
or
and I think
to relay that
the
message. I
biggest,
should say. Sorry.
no, and I don't disagree with you, but I feel, and let me ask you this: listen, if you, and we're not trying to count nobody's money here, but you know, if this was you, Persona, and this happened, and you know, your overseer said that this is a direction, and you've been trying to fight it, and this is a decision they made after you made this tweet saying, you know, we're trying to finalize the direction of what's going to be with Xbox, and it comes to find out that this direction ain't going to change. Are you going to be the one that's going to go? I mean, put it this way: are you going to still be with the company if you don't believe in this direction?
Well, so that's that. See, but that remains to be seen, right? And the reason why I say that is because when we look at a number of interviews from Phil Spencer in the past, Phil Spencer has been using some of these talking points of how, you know, they aren't looking at Xbox or not looking at Nintendo or PlayStation as competition, and looking at Google and Amazon. They're looking to the cloud. You know, they're looking to, you know, when everybody plays, we all win. All these different, you know, a lot of these talking points are coming from Phil Spencer as well, right? But I think because Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty all are the face of important divisions within the Xbox space and within the gaming division, I think it's important for those three to be the ones to relay the message, because they are the ones that run that side of the business. If Satya is coming out and making that call, it makes it look like Phil Spencer, from a power side of things and a respect type of thing. Like, why am I hiring Phil Spencer if I gotta be the one to come out and make the call? No, you're the head of the fit. You're the head of the Xbox. Yeah. You're the one that is, you know, also has power to make decisions within the room. You are the person that I'm paying the salary to. You need to be the one to go out there, even if it is coming from the top down, right? Phil Spencer still is the face of that division, so he should, which is why he tweeted out. You didn't see Satya say anything. Brad Smith, you didn't see none of them. You not even Sarah Bond. Sarah Bond tweeted out that she got the goddamn Persona 3 Reloaded Collector's Edition. They're not because really and truly, it's not their place. It's Phil Spencer's place, because he is the one that is at the forefront of everything that's going on within gaming. He has to. He has to be the one, because if Satya is coming out, it's going to actually bring more validity to what you're saying with, well, Phil Spencer must be getting fired.
Hey, can I make a quick aside?
Yeah,
that
go ahead.
Phil Spencer tweet has gotten 6.6 million views in this short amount of time.
As it should.
And that tweet.
In comparison to everything else that they show, the announcements they make, videos they put out, 6.6.
Well, that just lets you know that a lot of people care. A lot of people care about that, about what they got to say, and they've been looking for that all day.
Well, that's because that's a big decision, Forte. That's huge, bro. Because that and I hate to bring it, but let's use the fanboy terms. Let's just entertain it. That's Microsoft waving the white flag,
bro.
Like on some straight up, like, yo, this is what it is. Like, you know, and again, I'm not looking at it from the fanboy lens, but let's just use that fanboy logic or fanboy talking points. That's the white flag being waved. So that's huge, bruh.
Well, let me tell you this from the other fanboy perspective, because you know we don't live in that world. We just dabble in it every once in a while. But you know, let's look at it from the other side of that. The reason most of these people are upset is because you know, Xbox hasn't done anything for them over the course of this generation, going back. Like, yeah, they released some games, but a lot of them flopped and a lot of them didn't do what they were supposed to do, and you know, the confidence of the company is down in the gutter. So people were looking forward to what this year could bring, because this is a year that a lot of games are coming out. It's a good chance none of that stuff's going to get delayed out. You got a chance to like really see what Call of Duty is going to do underneath your leadership and under your banner when it comes to the marketing and everything for a full year, because you know you own it for this whole year. This was going to be a chance for Xbox to sit back and say, let's see what 2024 looks like, and let's reevaluate in 2025. Because
that's why
this decision could have been made at any time. Persona, they can make this decision next year.
That's why I feel like
could have been done then.
But that's why I agree with the Xbox fan base with the outrage. Obviously respectful, not the weirdo shit, just the respectful outrage. I agree with that, because the ZeniMax acquisition, the Activision acquisition, the future of it, all these talking points and all this other shit, just to turn around and have this come out of like, oh, well, we might be going full third party. That's the rumor. Hey, yo, man, listen, buying into the console, buying into the ecosystem. I get it, man. I really do. And that's not me. I really do get it. I get that. Like, yo, that's I get that. So I'm like, yo, I am a firm believer that Microsoft should maintain its exclusivity when it comes to its games. But if the money is not there, they can't do that. That's the elephant in the room. If they do that, can they sustain it and make a profit? Right. And I hate to say this, the answer most likely is no.
No, you're right. And I don't want to keep you here. And I'm going to leave you with this last question. Oh, first of all, DBS podcast, like you said, every Thursday, 9 p.m. with the homie Slow Mo. Come check us out over there. And going to be a lot of content.
Go and put the link in the chat too, man. When you throw the link in there too.
Yeah, make sure you guys just check out everybody, because there's gonna be a lot of news coming out this week. What we know today is not what we're gonna know on Friday. It's gonna be a completely different narrative by the end of this week. But I'm gonna leave you with this, Persona. You're right about everything you just said. Can't take that away from you. But the thing I'm gonna leave you with, where would Xbox be if they didn't wait to 2018 to fix all of these problems? Where would they be?
That's a good question. I think they probably, if they were more aggressive sooner, I think they probably would have been in a better position now, because they left the 360 generation on a high. Even with the Red Ring and all that stuff, they had the third-party exclusives. They had the Call of Duty deal. They had one of the best first-person shooters with Halo. They had an awesome third-person shooter with Gears. They had Forza. They were leaving 360 and going into the next generation on a extremely high note, where that was true competition with PlayStation and Nintendo. Right. True competition where, like, yo, Xbox they could go into this next generation and dominate. It fell apart.
Absolutely.
It fell apart. And now it's to the point, now it's to the point where they might not, they most likely will never get that back. That's it.
Yeah, definitely. You're right.
Yes, sir. But yo, appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely. You too, bro.
Yes, sir. Yo, listen, guys, I appreciate everybody coming through, man. Shout out to the folks here that pulled up to the Discord. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I think we had like 260 of you lovely people. I know some of y'all were Xbox dudes too. I know you wanted to hear my thoughts, and I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm surprised you want to hear somebody's thoughts like me, so I appreciate that. And I just hope this conversation in this show tonight, again, because it's easy to just crack the jokes and all, and trust and believe the jokes were made, but on a serious note, when it comes to gaming, this is big. This is important, man. And for the people that are trying to minimize this as just being, oh, my plastic box, my exclusive. Listen, man, go somewhere, bruh. Like, go sit down somewhere. Nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody cares. Okay? And for the Xbox fans that are really being vocal and really voicing their opinions and being honest and respectful about it, listen, man, I'm with you. But with that being said, guys, please enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope you enjoyed this episode of When Persona Speaks, episode 241. Make sure you guys go check out the Jay Bari Show this Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. I know Bari's going to go in. I know it's going to be really entertaining. You got a little glimpse of it here on this show. But, Bari ain't going to give you all the goodness. You're going to have to go to his channel and get that. And make sure you subscribe while you're there. And while you at it, make sure you go to DPS Podcast. And make sure you guys go subscribe to my boys, Game and Forte and Slow Mo. Their podcast every Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern. Go support those brothers over there, man. They out there. They doing their thing. Go support them. You understand? Go support them and tell them that Persona sent you. Also, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern or 5:30, I forget, me and Bari will be live for our live reactions of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And shout out to Caleb with the $5 super chat. Bari, I know you're gonna be mad at this. Wario on Twitter has posted that the Final Fantasy VII demo will be out tomorrow. So that's a spoiler. Shout out to Caleb. Shout out to the spoilers, right? So
yo, Caleb, man, you getting blocked.
Shout out to Caleb. But yo, listen, make sure you guys, tune into What's Up PlayStation podcast tomorrow. Me and Bari will be doing live reactions. I'll have the details and all that out on our official Twitter, What's Podcast, and on our respective Twitters as well. Also, one last thing, do me a favor and go subscribe to I Am Cray as well. He's in the chat. Make sure you guys go subscribe to my bro. You understand? Know him for a really long time, my boy Vic. And go and support him and go support his YouTube channel. Also, my boy Court. I don't know if Court is in the chat or not, but support Court as well. Stealth Guy Gaming. Go support those channels, man. Those are good dudes out there making great gaming content. Go support them. You feel me? But with that being said, guys, please enjoy the rest of your evening. It's been your boy Persona. And I'm out, guys. Peace.